Hey, what is up, you guys? Luke Wayne here. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. And as always, remember high hopes, low expectations. Today's news, we are talking about Injustice 3. Injustice 3, woohoo! While you Injustice fans get excited out there, because we could potentially be seeing an Injustice 3 release very, very soon. We could see an announcement at DC FanDome. I know this is a little strange because of coronavirus and all the other stuff going on in the world. We thought that NetherRealm wouldn't release the game next year, which, if you don't know, NetherRealm follows a 2-year cycle. They release a game every 2 years. Mortal Kombat, Injustice, and we were due with another Injustice next year. Now, the weird thing is, this year, Ed Boon kind of, indirectly said that there will not be an Injustice 3 anytime soon by saying that they were planning on supporting Mortal Kombat a lot longer than their previous games, and because of all the other delays going on right now with the coronavirus, we just kind of assumed that we would not be getting Injustice 3 until 2022. But today I have some very good news for you Injustice fans, because Injustice 3 has officially been teased by Tom Taylor. Who is Tom Taylor? Tom Taylor is a moderately famous comic book writer, and he's currently writing Teased right now, I believe. I'm not too familiar with his work outside of the Injustice series, but if you don't know, Tom Taylor does currently write all of the Injustice comics, I believe, and I recommend you pick him up because Injustice, is a very interesting and fun world. But anyways, that is who Tom Taylor is. He just writes all the comics for Injustice and a lot of the story and world building. And today, Tom Taylor has officially teased Injustice 3. Tom Taylor posted this quote with the picture of an eye. Why is this eye important? It's the Injustice font, obviously. If you're an Injustice fan, then that should be pretty obvious for you. And he posted the quote, "I think it could have been different," and the quote's by Batman. And I believe that quote is from the Injustice 2 comics, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, now, if you just came here for the bare bones news, what's the Injustice 3 tease? There it is. There's all you guys want to see. But now, if you were here for the speculation / my thoughts on what this means for Injustice 3, what is he teasing, then I would recommend you stick around. So, first thing on the agenda, is this a comic book or is this officially Injustice 3? As I already said in the video, it's Injustice 3. I believe it's Injustice 3, and you have no reason to believe it is a comic book, simply because it's unlikely that they're going to start, making a lot of new comic books when we don't have another Injustice coming out for another 2 years. So there's definitely Injustice 3 on the way. Whether Tom Taylor is teasing a comic book tie-in with a video game that's about to be announced, or he's teasing the video game itself, remains to be seen. But let's focus on the quote itself now. I think it could have been different, Batman. And again, I don't remember exactly where this quote is said, and I'm pretty sure it's in Injustice 3 comics, and of course, I tried Googling it. I couldn't find any exact reference. But this could be, referencing the fact that he could be trying to change events in the past. I know in the comics before, he's asked Barry if he would time travel back to stop these events from happening, like Superman, going evil and all that stuff. And Barry said that he doesn't want to mess with time travel. But the quote being, I think it could have been different, definitely insinuates something like that happening, where he tries to change something in the past, or maybe it's not. I just feel like he wouldn't have picked that quote for no reason. Like, he picked this quote specifically for this tease. This is definitely teasing something with the main plot. Something in the main plot of Injustice 3 has to do with the quote, I think it could have been different. So that's my personal theory. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you think that he could be trying to change the past? Do you think he could be trying to open the multiverse again? And going to different universes trying to find one that, works? Maybe, I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I know another thing worth mentioning is how Injustice 2 ended. If you don't know, of course, spoiler alert, but you can choose two different endings between Batman and Superman. One ending is Superman beats Batman, and then he becomes basically the new Brainiac, and he becomes Lord and Ruler again. And the other ending that most people chose is Batman winning with Kryptonite, and he punches Superman with a Kryptonite suit, and then he sends him back into the Phantom Zone. I think, well, I guess I should save this for another video, but basically what I think is we could potentially be seeing two different plots in Injustice 2, or Injustice 3. Maybe that could be revealed to be two different universes, and maybe Injustice 3 will be diving back into the multiverse, being a little bit crazy, and trying to be like, oh, those two different endings, they both happened in their own separate universes, and maybe they're going to try to, do what Injustice 1 did, where the one universe tries to fix the other one again. One very small detail that I guess is worth mentioning, people in the replies are all giving them their fan fiction story suggestions like, oh, Damian Wayne should be a Red Lantern, oh, Superboy Prime should be the villain. And one of those suggestions is that Harley and Ivy should be a thing in this new game, or in Justice 3, or in the comics, whatever. And he actually responds, and he says along the lines of, yeah, I'm all for that, which is definitely interesting to say the least, and I definitely think that's a good thing. We might see a Harley and Ivy relationship now. Alright, but this video is already long enough. I guess I'll make a separate video one day about Injustice 3 story details, or once we get a reveal trailer at DC FanDome. Now let's talk about the game itself. And by the way, feel free to leave your guesses in the comments below what you think the story could be. I'd love to hear that. But for right now in the video, let's talk about the actual game itself and how and when I think the reveal should be and when I think the release for Injustice 3 should be. Alright, so if you don't remember, about 6 months ago, I think Mortal Kombat got the Joker DLC character, whatever, and in the DLC, in one of the trailers, they released a bit of the dialogue, if you don't know. Before they add a new character, every time they do a little trailer and they show a little bit of dialogue, and the pieces of dialogue they showed for Joker, it was Joker versus Joker, and it was the pre-match dialogue, and he goes something along the lines of, we can be a new dynamic duo, and then he's like, only 2 of us? That's an injustice. And then he goes, well, you're right, we could use a third, which definitely teases an Injustice 3. So that was about 6 months ago, and I guess if we want to get really, put our tinfoil hats on, that could have been when the project was greenlit, or when they started working on the project. And if we're being honest here, typically a fighting game isn't going to take as long to make as a lot of other bigger, more AAA titles, I suppose, like, a new Batman game. So really, like 2 years, if that, it should not take that long to make a fighting game, at least compared to other games. And we have to assume this. They're going to use maybe 75% of the Injustice 2 roster. Again, they're going to add a lot of new characters, but they're going to keep a lot of the roster the same. They're going to keep a lot of the moves the same. And they're going to have the gear system. Yeah, it's going to take some time, but they already spent so long developing the gear system in Injustice 2. I think they're going to reuse a lot of the gear assets, and also when creating new gear, I think they already kind of know what to do because they're kind of used to making gear for both Mortal Kombat and Injustice. So this game isn't probably going to take as long to make as Injustice 2, especially if it's a next-gen title, because next-gen is supposed to be easier to make games on with the SSD on the PlayStation 5 at least. It's supposed to be a lot quicker and easier, and we don't know if this is going to be a PC port yet, which would definitely speed up the process if it's not. So if this game does not take a long time to make, and if they started working on this game 6 months ago, and if they're about to drop the trailer at DC FanDome, keeping in mind that they usually don't drop trailers until the game is less than a year away from development, we could potentially be seeing this game release in 2021, and that definitely goes in line with the NetherRealm cycle, where they release a game every 2 years. So I suppose NetherRealm cycle is not about to be broken because of the coronavirus. The only problem I see with this theory is that WB already has a lot of titles coming out next year, but that's a video for another time where I predict DC games when they release. But anyways, I guess that's it. Do you guys think Injustice will come out next year late, or do you think it will come out early 2022? What do you guys think? Do you think that they're about to tease Injustice 3 over a year before it comes out? Do you think they're just doing this at DC FanDome because DC's making them? Or do you think the game's a lot closer to release than we believe? Let me know down in the comments below. I love interacting with you guys. You're 80% of the reason why I do this channel. I look at all the comments. I heart most of them, and I try to reply to a few of them. And yeah, thank you guys for supporting me. And if you actually made it this far in the video, I don't know how I entertained you, but you enjoy my content, so I have to very, very politely ask you to very please subscribe, kind sir, if you enjoy my content and if you want to help my channel grow. And if you really did enjoy this video, then by all means give it a like, because it does help it out in the YouTube algorithm. It gets this video seen by more people. If you disliked this video, then please leave a comment below with constructive criticism, as I would always love to improve. Stay awesome, y'all, and peace.